This is KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications. This is KHQA. It's your news now.
And this is Saturday, September 21st, and you have indeed entered overtime, the busiest 30 sports minutes of your week, and mine as well. So much on tap tonight: soccer, volleyball, golf, softball, even some high school football, not to mention our Seeds of Greatness feature, highlighting the next generation of local standouts before they hit it big, which takes us to Cahokia tonight. But we start our journey on this evening with Western Illinois in Sin City, attempting to recoup some of that lost second half momentum from last week's BCS loss at Minnesota. It's not happening right now as the Leathernecks have struggled to get anything going against the Rebels defense tonight. The score as we stand in the third quarter, with the third quarter just about over now, 31-0 is your final. If anything better happens during the course of this game, we will update you soon enough. But right now it looks pretty grim for the Leathernecks. Football today, Central Methodist in for Culver Stockton's home opener. Culver Stockton up at this point 24-15 at the half, but the lead transitional in this one as Caleb Borghardt hooks up with Jamal Williams there to cut the lead to 24-22. Central Methodist looking for more even, but Jerry Nash III is there for the pick, and that sets up Tyree Gordon. 163 yards rushing today, which is a new personal best for him. And this touchdown, the PAT would be missed. So at that point, it's 30-22. After a failed onside kick, though, Culver Stockton, for whatever reason, decided to kind of pile on. It didn't work out. Culver on its heels. This touchdown pass cuts that lead back down to 30-28. The Wildcats driving to re-extend in this ballgame, but this fumble proves incredibly costly as Western had crossed over the 30-yard line, but this ball gives the momentum right back to Central Methodist. The Eagles turn it around in the red zone. They're trying for the touchdown. Great play right here. Prevents the touchdown. They have to settle, at this case, for the Ezekiel Riviera field goal, which makes it a 31-30 lead in favor of Central Methodist. The Cats trying to answer third and long. Best hookup you'll see all week. Intended right there for Terrence Brooks. But on third and long, Desmond Phillips somehow comes up with it, extends for the first down, and that sets up Mr. Widener again, this time hooking up with the big fella, the tight end, Chris Cunningham, and he's just going to rumble and rumble and rumble 70 yards into the end zone to put Culver Stockton back on top with just about 3 minutes left to play in this game. 36-30 at this point. Culver Stockton sensing victory, but in a minute's time, CNU drives the field, and this Paul Stevens 22-yard touchdown catch is the heartbreaker for the Wildcats. Great game, high drama, but Culver Stockton can't win at home today. They lose by the final in this one of 37-36. Meanwhile, Quincy University, its home opener today, started off very poorly for Tom Padgett and company. Would get better, though. First quarter, Nick Lonergan with a good run here for 9 yards, but the offense was pretty much moribund early. Northwoods goes up 14-0 early in this game, thanks to the rushing touchdown here. And it was going to get ugly fast in this one before QU could respond. Here, Jared King escaping the scrum and stretching out for a first down. That kind of sparked the Hawks, at least in the early going in this one. Is Nick Lonergan, the pride of Jacksonville, Illinois, going to go to the air? And this is a pretty pass, although Crimson's fans have seen this many a time. Lonergan to the top, Justin Dickens at the other end, just out of bounds, just shy of the touchdown. Third and goal, Lonergan's pass would be batted away in this particular instance, but Northwood was flagged for the personal foul. That sets up Jared King to make it 14-6. At one point, 42-12, Quincy University with a phenomenal rally to get this thing back really to within a score. Unfortunately, a bizarre pass interference call at the end of the game cost Quincy University. They come up just short in their comeback attempt. Valiant effort late, though. 42-39 was your final. One other regional college football note to pass along tonight. Truman State a winner 24-23 over William Penn. Garrett White with the late game-winning touchdown in this one for the Bulldogs. This is also notable tonight because there was a moment of silence tonight at Stokes Stadium for Alan Decker, the father of former South Shelby star Ethan Decker, who passed away this week. Very class move by Greg Nesbitt and company. Ethan back. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I should say, a very good ending for Truman State and Ethan Decker tonight. 24-23 was your final there. We've got high school football today as well. West Hancock hosting the Gray Ghosts of IVC, and they are a running machine. Blake Strebel right here starts things off in the first drive with a 17-yard scamper. You know what? West Hancock goes 3 and out. The very next play after the punt, more from that running game of IVC. This is Kel Notzel going in from long distance, making it 14-0, and then Blake Strebel again. It was 21-0 in this game before you could blink. rough go of it for West Hancock today. They couldn't rekindle any of their first half magic that they had against Illini West. And it's a falling to 0-3 on the season for West Hancock as they lose by the final count, as you saw right there, of 56-8. Better news all around on the high school docket, however. Pittsfield Griggsville Perry gets their first victory of the season against Bunker Hill. Austin Allen, 97 rushing yards and a pair of touchdowns in this one. Wade Smith, the quarterback, had 91 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns as well. Jacksonville Rout picks up its first win of the season in the crosstown rivalry game with ISD. 37-30 was your final there. And over in Missouri, first win of the season for Clopton-Ellsbury as the Indian Hawks go on the road and beat Principia. Final count in that one was 36-22. Well, earlier this week, while playing at Gold Hills Golf Course in Macomb, QND #1 golfer Lucy Clark notched her first career ace on the par 3 16th hole via a 9-iron. As happenstance would have it, Lucy and her Lady Raider teammates were slated to go back to Gold Hills today, 4 days later, which got us to thinking, could lightning strike twice today? We will eventually take you to the dramatic 16th hole, but we start out building the drama a little bit. Here we are with Macomb's Haley Hadsall, short-sided the green on her approach on number 11. That's just nifty. Short game is a magical elixir to bad shots. She saves par, shoots a 75 on the day. On number 12, Lucy Clark, who we mentioned earlier of QND, short on the green on the par 3, but a magical recovery shot to save par. Again on 13, long putt for Lucy for par. She drains it. She was on her game today, firing a 71. How about Central's Amanda Earrig today? She too very good on that same 13th hole. The flat stick working. She fired an 83 today for 4th place. More importantly, Central pulls the upset team victory. We'll continue with the highlights here. Lucy on number 15. What an amazing recovery shot this is. Sitting 2 on the par 4. I'll tell you what, Lucy just has that short game locked in like she was Dave Pels, knocking that up stiff for the par. We take you to 16. Would we see an ace again? Unfortunately for Lucy, the wind a little stiffer today. She did not even make the green, but you know what? That just gives her a chance to get up and down for another beautiful par. As I said, Lucy Clark, your medalist today with a 71. Nifty shot for her. You'll watch her tap that in. She finished 4 strokes better than Haley Hadsall of Macomb. Great group today. Great camaraderie between all 4 of the young ladies who played. Again, though, Central, your winner today. Lucy Clark was your medalist. Other golf scores to pass along. Havana Invite. The Q&D machine continues. It's somebody different every week for Charles Scholes, and this time it was Jake Kroenke stepping up to finish in 2nd place with a 76. Drew Eaton, Mr. Hudson finishing with 77s on the day. That's just really good balance for the Raiders. Also really good balance for the Blue Devils over in Pekin today. Zach Burry leading the way with a 2 under par 70 as Quincy High School was 13 strokes clear of their next closest competitor. Zach Coleman Pfeiffer also with a very good day, firing a 77 for 9th place. That's 2 top 10s for Quincy High School. Softball today, Ellsbury kind of avenges themselves after losing to Highland earlier this month in a tournament. Ellsbury wins its own tournament 5-2 was your final there. Also in the consolation game at Ellsbury today, it was Louisiana knocking off Hannibal 7-1 was your final. And congratulations to the Payson Junior High Schoolers. They're headed off to state after winning a sectional title today at the expense of Griggsville. 14-0 was your final there. Payson Seymour is a monster. They are now 21-0 on the season. And when we come back, plenty more here on Overtime, including a marvelous soccer win on the road for the Quincy High Blue Devils.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications.
And welcome back to Overtime, everybody. A very daunting road test on tap today for Quincy High School and the soccer squad as Matt Longo took his team to Jefferson City to tangle with the undefeated J squad that has been nearly impossible to score against this season. How would things shake out today? The Jays coming off a win over the number 4 ranked team in Class 3. 12 minutes in, penalty kick for Hunter Hosher, and he is true. And this would turn out to be a thing of beauty because Quincy High's defense was magnificent today in its own right, beating the Jays at their own game. The Devils so salty they only gave up 7 shots. This the best of them from Jeff City, which went wide right. Tell you what, Quincy High School made that 1 goal stand up today. They had a couple of other nice attempts, but the Blue Devils pull off a big win, hand the Jays their first loss of the season. 1-0 is your final. Also good news on the road today for Quincy Notre Dame. Aubrey Reese, your hero on the day with a hat trick. Cooper Reese with a couple of assists on the day as Q&D gets a big win over Normal U High. Final count in that one was 4-1. Well, they are about as bankable a powerhouse as you will find in tri-state fall sports. But even by Holy Trinity's usual lofty volleyball standards, the 2013 campaign is shaping up to be something uniquely special. Melissa Friesmeier's crew entered the year ranked number 1 in Class 1A and hasn't yet relinquished that perch since. Today at the Keokuk Invitational, taking on Burlington Notre Dame, one of 6 matches on the day. Great serving out of the gate today from Nicole Wilkins, who's just never going to give up her serve ever in game number 1. Melissa calls for zone 5 behind the trapper keeper of death. And again, it is another beautiful ace right there for her. More to come in this one. How about Nicole Wilkins about to deliver? Oh, again on the edge right there. Or that's Madeline Orton with a kill. I tell you what, those outside hitters getting it done as well. More of Miss Wilkins now serving again for another ace. I told you she wouldn't relinquish. 13-1 in game number 1 at this point. Michaela Fecky. Oh, she's going to come up strong. The Nebraska commit. Big block right there, and you got Feckied. Makes it 17-1 at that point. More to come from Holy Trinity. Just abusing Burlington Notre Dame at this point as Madeline Orton with another kill. Her team wins game number 1, 21-1 with Miss Wilkins serving throughout. Game number 2, nice setter dump right there by Maria Vondahar. And then a whole bunch of you got Feckied moments. We'll just set them up for you as Michaela Fecky had 65 kills on the day. A beautiful block. I mean, she's just vicious. And again, just a junior, just a ridiculous talent. As you might remember, led the world in the under-18 volleyball championships over in Thailand in kills. This is what she does. I'm going to set you up with one more beautiful one coming up here on the little pop set from Miss Vondahar. This is a thing of beauty right here as Holy Trinity wins 6 straight games today to take the title at Keokuk and looks really good in doing so. More for you from volleyball today. Quincy Notre Dame just goes right through like a buzzsaw. Peoria Notre Dame today. At home, 25-19, 25-8 was your final. Also on the docket today, Southeastern picks up its first loss of the season playing in tournament play today. That came against Calhoun, the eventual tournament champion, 25-17, 22-25, 15-8. In the third place game, the score you saw there, Southeastern moved their record to 15-1 on the season by defeating Athens 25-13, 26-24. Colby McClelland, the outstanding freshman we talked about on Seeds of Greatness a couple of weeks ago, and Dakota Limpkeman did make the all-tournament team there. Also, Quincy High School beating up on the Rock Islands today at K&L Arena, beating up on Alleman and Rock Island in straight games each. Those are impressive victories, as was Hannibal taking care of business at home at Marshall's expense on the day. Another good day for Brooklyn Watson, who had 7 kills and 5 digs, and Melanie Blaze serving very well with 3 aces. She also had 3 kills on the day as well. More scores to pass along to you tonight. We've got tennis to talk about. Palmyra goes to the Marshall tournament and ends up taking 3rd place in that specific event. 6-3 was your final there against Trenton in that 3rd place match. Also a score you don't see there, but I want to tell you about right here. Unity High School freshman Nikita Berger played in the Bloomington Gold Invitational. She played in the number 1 singles flight. She finished the day 3-1, placing 5th. Her only loss was to the top seed, Kaylee Thurwelk of Belleville West. So obviously, again, more great play out of that freshman Nikita Berger. Sounds like somebody we need to be paying attention to down the road here for Seeds of Greatness. Well, right now, that brings us to our 4th and latest nominee for Con Communications Connection of the Month. Now, this works on 2 levels. Each week here on Overtime, we give you the best sports hookup of the entire week. And at the end of the month, you, our viewers, get to choose the very best of the best. And as an inducement for anyone who votes, simply by logging onto our website at the end of the month, you earn a great prize package from Con Communications. We've had some good ones so far for the month of September. Another great one last night, courtesy of the Hannibal Pirates. Tell you what, Austin Kirby is no fill-in quarterback. He looks like a starter, and it helps when your receivers are this darn good. Dalton Overstreet, watch him at the back of the end zone. A very pivotal touchdown against Mexico as he manages to get the 1 foot down. Again, only 1 foot in high school, but it's good enough. Dalton Overstreet really has been very impressive, both in the preseason and stepping up in bigger roles. You'll look at it one more time. Your Con Communications 4th nomination of the month. Let us remind you what else is out there up against Dalton Overstreet and Austin Kirby, as we've got some pretty good ones. It started off this month with Rushville Industries' Brady Crane delivering the outstanding reversal of field against South Fulton. He had great stuff working there as well. We had the great soccer connection last week as well. The Hunter Hosher goal, as you saw right there. Beautiful stuff as well last week with the Palmyra hookup between Brock Butler and Jordan Nutt. So lots of good stuff out there, and we have plenty more overtime for you coming up after this. Is it there now? Hey, Jordan, is it there now? That should be the right clip ID. Let me see if it got in. Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you send 1308? It's E1308 to FileZilla for me. Hey, what happened to the graphics at the end of that story for Con? There's supposed to be graphics there, but they're not showing up in my scripts either. Okay, well, that's fine. What happened? Those graphics disappeared. That will happen. It's like paying the repeater. Hey, tell me if you get that Fort Madison Central Lee video. She's refile-zilling. What's that? Tell me if you get that video for volleyball. We'll start block 4 with it. Okay. Yeah, just straight up to me. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's time now for our weekly Burris Hybrid Seeds of Greatness segment, where we put the focus on the younger set in tri-state sports. And this week we're talking football, where Clark County has carved out an amazing legacy over the last decade for producing outstanding defensive ends. Lynn Williams, Michael Brennan, Luke Ross, Kyle Kovar, just to name a few. We got a nomination this week for a 6th grader who might be the heir apparent to that legacy. Looking forward, his name is Spencer Gregory, number 75, and a young man who is certainly flashing some of those same characteristics that might help him extend the legacy in Cahokia. And while he plays on both sides of the football for his youth league team, there's no doubt in Spencer's mind as to a positional preference.
Sometimes defense can win the games, and I just like hitting people.
Looking at Spencer, you go to look at his body frame. It's a lot like Michael Brennan. Brennan was very successful here. If he can have the motivation, the drive to be the best he can be, I can see he can hit that level.
Play hard, practice harder most of the time, and better you practice, the better you play.
Yeah, there's a lot of raw potential. There's a lot that you don't have to tell him. He's football savvy.
Spencer, the kind of kid who looks like he's having fun out there?
Spencer has a lot of fun. He does pay attention. That helps. He knows what he's doing. I can put him at any position on the field, and he'll know what to do.
And our congratulations to Mr. Gregory. Remember that name going forward. That's what the program is here for, so you're better educated about what's to come in the next couple of years. Let's talk a little soccer today. The nationally ranked HLGU squad, number 14 in the country right now, beats Freed Hardeman 2-1 on the men's side. The women's HLG game ends up as a tie. Culver Stockton, though, with a big win on the men's side, beating Clark by the final count in this one of 3-2 as well. And there's that women's score for you, as I mentioned as well. And we'll have more overtime for you coming up after this. Did you find it? What's that? Okay. Let's start with that. Okay. And then we'll go into the Cardinals straight from there. I needed that to kill some time. And because you can never have enough Southeast Iowa volleyball love, more from Keokuk, Fort Madison, and Central Lee going at it. And early on, Kayla Culbertson was just killing it, literally, for Fort Madison. Back-to-back kills for her team as they would jump out to a 21-7 win in game number one. Rachel Steffensmeyer, though, gets into the act just for a brief moment here in this one as she gets the nice little redirect right there. Working hard is Miss Kayla Culbertson, though, there with the finesse. Here's Rachel Steffensmeyer with the redirect. And then more of Miss Culbertson again to polish off game number one, 21-7 in favor of the Hounds. Central Lee, though, awakens in game number two. It's Regan Mickelson, who has one of the most unusual serves I've ever seen. She's none too shabby. Nice little player there. Morgan Steffensmeyer coming back the other direction, working one for Central Lee coming up. After that beautiful hit right there by Regan Mickelson, you will see her there. Morgan Steffensmeyer. There's that serve I mentioned. It's kind of like a whirling dervish type thing, but it really works out well for her. Tough to return, and I'm told tough to simulate in practice as well. There's Morgan Steffensmeyer throwing down the kill. Central Lee wins the second game to force a third and decisive game. Unfortunately, we never got a final call back on how that third and decisive game ended up. So we'll just tell you that Fort Madison and Central Lee waged one heck of a war today.